Hello. This will be a demonstration of Proposition 7 from Book 2 of Euclid's Elements, which states that if a straight line be cut at random, the squares on the whole and one of the segments equal double the rectangle contained by the whole and the said segment, and the remaining segment. It even took me a little while to figure that out. I've done this proposition. I should know what it means. Fortunately, I don't. That's a lie. I do know what it means. Okay, so as with everything, the enunciation is made more clear with a given. So let's make our given. So it's a straightforward given. We've seen this before. It is a straight line AB cut at random at some point C. And we shall say that the square on the whole being AB, the square on AB, plus the square on just any one of the segments, in this case it shall be BC. So the square on AB plus the square on BC equal double the rectangle contained by AB and BC. So that's what's meant here, the rectangle contained by the whole. And the said segment, the segment is the same as the one we already mentioned, plus the square on the remaining segment. So the segment we first chose to use is BC. The remaining segment, naturally then, is AC. So now let's begin with our construction. We begin by constructing a square, ADEB. These videos are making me great at drawing squares. Look at that, that's incredible. And Euclid does a funny thing here where we've seen this same sort of figure drawn many times. So he simply says, let the figure be drawn. What this consists of is connecting a diagonal by virtue of postulate 1. I'm going to redraw that. That is suboptimal. That is slightly more optimal. And by making these parallel lines right here, so through C, and parallel line like that. And this is all done by virtue of proposition 31. I'm going to check the book real fast because the lettering is all kind of weird, and so I want to make sure I get it right. So it's N on the bottom. Okay. This is H. This is G. This is F. This is N, and this is the gnomon KLM. Cool. So the figure to be drawn is referred to this thing, which you make by drawing a square, connecting one of its diameters, and then drawing some parallel lines. Now, our construction is done. Tends to be done in just one step. So first, we know that the rectangle AG is equal to the rectangle GE, because these are complements. This is proposition 143. We can then say, by adding this square, CF, we can say that AF is equal to CE. So we add CF to AG and GE. AG plus CF is the rectangle AF. GE plus CF is the rectangle CE. This is just combination 2. And we can also say that the rectangle AF, plus the rectangle CE is equal to double rectangle AF. Because these are two things, if you... that just makes sense. It's a combination 2, but because some of the terms are just identical, they're combined into just double. But it's nothing weird. Now, we also know that the rectangle AF plus the rectangle CE is equal to the gnomon KLM plus the square CF. This is a little bit difficult to figure out, so I'm going to draw it out actually. So we have the rectangle AF like this, and we also have its equal CE, right? So we have these two rectangles, like this, AF and CE, and if we take the whole of one of these and add the larger segment, or add the larger area, we get this whole gnomon. And then we're just left over with this square. So that's how to make sense of that. Rectangle AF plus CE, you can rearrange the areas into a gnomon and just a missing square. Not missing, but remaining square. That's what I should say. Ooh. Sorry, I just got a little lost. Oh, that's where we are. That's my bad. I shouldn't get lost. We also know that the rectangle AF is equal to the rectangle contained by AB and BC because CB is equal to BF. This is the Portism of proposition 2.4. We have a square here, and so we can say that its sides are all equal. And so the rectangle AF is contained by AB and BF, because we have the right angle here. We know that BF is equal to BC, and so we can substitute one containing side for its equal. In this case, we're substituting BF for BC. And so we can say that the rectangle AF is equal to the rectangle contained by AB and BC. And so we can also say, this is just combination 1, that the gnomon KLM plus the square CF is equal to double the rectangle contained by AB and BC. And this is because we know that the rectangle contained by AB and BC is equal to the rectangle. AF, and double AF is the gnomon KLM plus CF. Furthermore, by adding equals, in this case it is the square GD, not square, which is the same as the square on AC, because we know that GH and AC are equal. They're opposite sides of a parallelogram. And so adding equals to equals, we can say that the gnomon KLM plus the square CF plus the square GD is equal to double the rectangle contained by AB and BC plus the square on AC. This is because the square GD is equal to the square on AC. Furthermore, we also see that the gnomon KLM plus the square CF plus the square GD is equal to the square on AB plus the square on BC. How do we say this? Well, the gnomon KLM plus the square GD simply equal the whole square. The whole square ADEB, and we know we made the square ADEB such that it is the square on AB. And so we add these two together. We add the gnomon KLM and the square GD to get our square on AB. And then the square CF is simply the square on BC. And so we can say that the square on AB plus the square on BC equals double the rectangle contained by AB and BC plus the square on AC. And this being what was set out to have been proven, we are done with the proposition, therefore, etc. QED. If I'm not mistaken, the algebraic form of this is not that weird. I'm just trying to work it out in my head. I see. Okay. So let's call this whole length AB. Let's call the whole straight line. Let's simply call this A, and we'll call the said segment B. And so, doing our algebraic terms, we can say that A squared plus B squared equals double the rectangle contained by AB and BC. So this would simply be 2AB plus the rectangle, or not the rectangle, the square on AC. Now what is AC? Well, AC has to be A minus B, because we take the whole AB, we subtract this bit, we get the remaining bit. And so this has to be A minus B squared. And if we do a little bit of rearranging, we get that A minus B squared equals, there it is, A squared minus 2AB, so we just subtract the 2AB on both sides, plus B squared. And we should certainly recognize this one, and that's what II.7 is. It's a little bit more rearranged. You need to do some rearranging to get it to a familiar form, but rearranging doesn't change the essence. And so the essence of proposition II.7 is the expansion of a minus b squared. And that is all I have to say about this proposition. So I will move on to 2.8.